Diversity and inclusion is essential to nonprofits, no matter where they work, as they hire staff, welcome volunteers, or serve their communities.
Canada is a diverse place. We celebrate multiculturalism and many other forms of diversity, and I think it's something we should be championing in the nonprofit sector especially.
I find sometimes when I go out and talk to people about diversity, everybody's getting that little small snapshot of what diversity is, but people are not getting down to do the work and creating the practices and the tools that are essential to work with people from other countries.
We operate at the local, provincial, national level. All of those stakeholders play a part in building a stronger community at all of those levels. And so for us, it's important to be as inclusive as possible.
ONN partnered with the Toronto Region Immigrant Employment Council to provide training in leadership, diversity, and inclusion to 2 groups of nonprofit leaders here in Ontario. The goal of the pilots were to work with these leaders to help them and their organizations develop the capacity to both design, develop, implement, and evaluate strategies for increasing diversity and inclusion.
It's bringing the conversation about diversity to the forefront and inclusion to the forefront of strategic thinking in this sector.
In Toronto, I think there's quite an awareness already because of the population in Toronto of the importance of diversity and inclusion. A lot of organizations have already done a lot of work to make sure that their organizations can serve the diverse population that's here. They haven't necessarily looked inward to look at, okay, what are our practices in our organization in terms of our employees?
There's an assumption that diversity doesn't exist in our community, which I hope to challenge through this and through some of the work that we do as an organization.
What we found in London, and I think representation of maybe other parts of Ontario, is that again, I think there's an awareness. I mean, Ontario receives 9 out of 10 of all the immigrants who come to Canada.
In the not-for-profit sector, we're always running into issues with fundings, time. Do we have the time to do this? Do we have the money to do this?
Unless you integrate this work into your core business, it'll always sit on the side of somebody's desk.
So by setting aside time by coming to the program and with us sharing some of the really pragmatic tools and resources right off the bat and getting people to talk and share their experiences, people were actually able to come up with really simple, practical things that they could start implementing.
To hear from it, from organizations that are operating in the same context is definitely what interested me particularly about this training.
The ability of having access to this information without having to invest in it or without having to reinvent the wheel.
Again, it's extremely important, and it's not a one-time thing, and it's not a one solution fits all.
I think that this program really teaches some different techniques and tools and procedures that are going to be helping us integrate new staff, ensure that inclusion and diversity is going to be standardized all across the sector. Therefore, the leadership is going to be more diverse all across the sector.
It allows us to look inside our organizations and start to piece apart where maybe there are doors that we've closed unknowingly that limit people's participation in their communities.
If we're all working together in diversity and inclusion, we're going to have a greater population base and more people engaged with our nonprofits. So in Ontario, if we don't include diversity and inclusion, we're going to be missing out on a huge amount of people that could be engaged with our organizations.